Well, hello there, Chocolate Queen. How are you? And is that Per Perivia? Perivia? Hey, Perivia. And then Ramir. Ramir, how are you? I think I might have to put on my glasses. How are you guys doing? Good to see you guys this evening. Hello, hello. And Anu, is it Anu? Okay, I can't pronounce it, but hello. ID 0883, how are you? Hello, everyone. I have been great. Thank you so much. A 7-month little girl. Congratulations to you. Congratulations. Hey, Jatoya, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. Greetings to you guys. Greetings to you guys. How is everybody doing? Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody. How is everyone doing? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Welcome, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Jesus. Oh, excuse me. Hey, Jesus Betty, how are you? Jesus girl Betty, how are you doing? You email me so I can make sure that you are at my conference on July 27th. Okay, Jesus girl Betty, email me at drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. Let me put that in here for you. Okay. I don't know whether or not you have my email. I think you do because I've emailed you before. Hold on. Oh, she's a blessing. I bet you she is. And I bet you she is gorgeous. I bet you she is gorgeous. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me put this in here. And Miss Betty, please email me. I'm gonna make sure that you are at my conference. Well, hey there, Bishop Linda. How are you doing? How are you doing? Let's see here. I don't have my moderator tonight. She has to get up early, so she's not on tonight. So I have to like talk and look at the same time. So hopefully I won't get distracted. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Betty. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, yes. Email me. When you tell your friend when she emails to put her email on there and your email on there. And then I'll send you the information, okay? I'll send you the information because I want to make sure that you're there because I know last year I couldn't get in contact with you. I was trying to get in contact with you and I could not get in contact with you to get you on the Zoom. So this year I want to make sure that you are on the Zoom with me for the conference, Miss Betty, because I know Apostle Sadler would love to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chocolate Queen. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm just going to give it a few more minutes to get a few people in here and I'll start talking. So as we're waiting for people to come on, I just want everyone to know that this is June 23rd. It is 8:08 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is Sunday. So if you are coming on here and you are watching me speak and it is not June 23rd, 2024, now it's 8:08 time. So add 2 hours to Eastern Standard Time. If it's not that time, this is not a live. It is then a replay. So right now we're on live, but if you look at the date up at the top, look at the date and time. Usually it says was live. If it says was live, you are watching a replay. And I know so many people get upset at me because they'll ask questions, get mad, or they say hello, and I'm not saying hello back. It's because of the fact that if it says was live, that means I am no longer live. Hey, Danielle, how are you doing? Oh, thank you. So remember, look up at the top, look at the date, June 23rd, 2024. It is now 8:09 Pacific Standard Time in Pacific Standard Time. And if you look up at the top, it says live. If you're coming on, you're doing a replay. It says was live. That means I'm no longer live. And a lot of people get upset at me because they're saying hello to me and I'm not live anymore. Okay. So just as a disclaimer, okay. Good evening, Jazz and Laughter. How are you doing? Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, listen, I'm doing something different tonight. I'm doing something different up until my conference time. I will not be answering questions. So I'm going to go ahead and talk. I'm gonna give some greetings and everything, and I'm gonna do my little facilitating and my little lecturing. But I'm not gonna take any questions because what I want you guys to do. There were several of you guys that emailed me already. What I'm gonna do on my lives, I'm gonna still come on live, but I'm gonna come on live and stream through Zoom. And so I'm gonna take 10 people at a time. And what you need to do is email me. Email me at drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. And what I'm going to do is you're going to be on the Zoom with me. And on the Zoom, I'm going to allow you to ask me questions. We won't have a topic. It'll be question and answers. And I'm allowing you to ask me questions. And when you ask me questions, we're going to be streaming live, just like we're streaming live now on Facebook, on YouTube, and people will be able to see you. Now, if you don't want to be on camera for safety reasons, you don't want to show your face, you don't want to be on camera for safety reasons, don't email me because you're going to be on camera and you're going to be live and people are going to see you while you're talking to me. And we're going to be having a conversation. And when I'm finished recording and I turn everything off, I'm going to have a conversation with you in reference to some other stuff. And then we'll cut it out. So if you have questions, I'm not going to answer questions tonight. Email me at Dr. Carmen Bryant. Hey, Danielle, you one of my moderators, right? Danielle, you one of my moderators. Because Just Be Real is not going to be on tonight, so I need you to moderate for me. I think I made you one of my moderators. But it is Dr. Carmen Bryant at Outlook.com. DrCarmenBryant at Outlook.com. Send me an email. Let me know that you would like to be on my live stream on Zoom next week. And I'm going to take 10 people. And out of those 10 people, because if I have too many people on at one time, there's too much conversation, too many questions going on at one time. And then I'm just go ahead and give you a disclaimer. Don't get on there and start telling all your life story now. You are okay. Can you moderate? Can you make sure you moderate for me? Because Just Be Real won't be here this evening. I appreciate you, sis. Thank you so much. I need to make sure you my moderator over there on Facebook. Also, Danielle, are you on my I have a new Facebook page. It is a private all women's group. And Danielle, I don't know if you're on there. If you're on there, let me know because I'm gonna make sure I make you one of my admins on there as well, if you don't mind. And so you can let people in. So those of you that don't know, I have a new Facebook page, gentlemen. We're still gonna be doing this right here, so don't even worry. But I have a private women's group. It's women recovering from narcissist and volatile relationships. And it is a private, hey there, Miss Karen. And it is a private Facebook group. You guys can join. I posted it in Facebook. I posted it in my community tab on YouTube. You guys go over to Facebook and you can request to join. I have in those groups is for females. Okay. You did? Okay. Is it okay to make you one of my admins as well? And if it's okay, I'm gonna make you one as you, Mercedes, Just Be Real, and then myself as one of the admins. But what happened is on that private Facebook group that is all women, we're gonna have, and it's not a bashing man site. We're not gonna be bashing men. Thank you. We're not gonna be bashing men. We're not gonna be talking about men. One thing we're not gonna do, we're not gonna down our men. But we will have conversations, women conversations. We're gonna have some discussions when I come on and do videos. We're gonna have some very detailed conversations about the abuse that you've been through and some motherly, sisterly, auntie, love and conversations. We're going to have some conversations that I cannot have on a public forum. And so some of those conversations are pretty deep. Well, thank you, Jazz. And it's called, let me show you what hold on, let me find my other phone. Jazz, are you on my Facebook? You're on YouTube. If you look on the YouTube channel, the YouTube that you're on, go to my community tab. When you go on my community tab, it has the Facebook group name right there. And it says it's women, hold on. I'll show it to you. Yes, just join the group. Let me see. Let me show you what it looks like. So this is what the group looks like. Hopefully you guys can see it's kind of blurry. It says, Women Recovering from Narcissist Abuse and Volatile Relationships with Dr. Carmen Bryant. So the page looks like this. So those of you that would like to questions, and then the admins will the admins will let you in, or I'll let you in. Okay. Hey, that you blessed to be stressed. The admins will let you in, and we will have there is women only. It's women only. So we'll have conversations, that are just woman to woman conversations, and some in depth conversations. Some things that we as sisters, cousins, aunties, grandmamas, we need to have these conversations. Okay. You're so welcome, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And I have a special discount for you guys when you come in there as well. So, and you'll see when you get in there. Okay, so you just go ahead. I won't be able to check it right now. I have to wait until I'm offline, off air. But if you guys send requests, I'll go through here and look if the admins don't get to it first. Okay. Hey there, Lisi. How are you? So let's go ahead and get started because I know you guys tired of me talking, right? So let's go ahead and get started now. If you're watching the replay and you're tired of me talking, and because of the fact that I haven't gotten to the conversation, I want you to look on your screen. There's like a little pause button, and there's a little wheel that goes to the left, and a little wheel goes to the right, and you can fast forward it, and you can get to what I'm saying. Too easy. All about the finger. All about the finger. All right, you guys ready? So the topic tonight is the fight of boundaries and the narcissist. Now, a lot of us have come from families. Some of us have come from healthy families. A lot of you have come from healthy families, and some of you have not come from healthy families. And the biggest thing about it is that sometimes your family are the toxic people in your life. And the biggest problem is that most people are afraid to put up boundaries. One thing that I have learned, in my own recovery process, especially having people like Apostle Sadler, my mother in my life, Bishop Linda. Bishop Linda's on there, and we're not gonna call her elder. She's a seasoned woman. She's a seasoned woman. And when you're talking about seasoned women, you're talking about women that have been through some things. And a lot of times, as young women, because a lot of us are still women, and when we're around these seasoned women can tell you some things about boundaries and respect for yourself, and no meaning no. And that's what boundaries are. Boundaries mean, when you set up boundaries, boundaries are non-negotiable. When you have a red light, it's non-negotiable whether you're going to stop at that light or not. Now, you can make up your mind and decide you're not going to stop. But if there's a camera up there, if there's a police around, you will get a ticket. Sometimes you may get away with it, but eventually you are going to get caught and you are going to pay a ticket. If you get enough tickets, you might lose your license. You could lose your license or your insurance could go up. It depends, but the laws and rules are in place to protect you and to protect people around you. Think about it for a minute. When you see those traffic signs, the speed limits, merge this way, slow down right here, children at play, is to protect the people around you and to protect yourself. Those are called boundaries. Boundaries are in place to protect you and to protect the people around you. If they're not in place, you're going to end up unaliving children, unaliving people around, unaliving your own self. Speed limit is curve coming. Speed limit around the curve is this: one lane, two lanes, no passing. You driving in the dark, it says no passing. You decide to pass because you're going up a hill. You can't see the next car that's coming up. So there are rules or boundaries or laws that are in place to keep you safe and to keep the people around you safe. Let me fix my camera. But it keep you and the people around you safe. Boundaries are the exact same way. Boundaries, you put boundaries in place to protect yourself, your emotions, and everything around you. Sometimes it's your own family that actually trains you not to have boundaries. The one thing that I can't stand is when people say blood is thicker than water. Listen, that's not actually the same. It's the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, meaning that there are times where you have established relationships outside of blood relationship, like parental relationships. Those family ties become stronger than sometimes, because sometimes it's the parents that are abusing, it's the siblings that are abusing you. And most of us, we make decisions out of emotions, out of emotions. That's right, Mother Dolly. Mother Dolly is a seasoned woman, a seasoned woman. But and but the thing is that oftentimes we're around family, and we have been taught that rules don't apply to family. I'm gonna give you an example. You can hear your sister or you hear your friends telling you he's no good for you, she's no good for you. This friend, if you have this friend, you don't even need an enemy. That's not how you should be treated. Don't allow them to disrespect you. You have to put up your boundaries. You have to do this, right? But then all of a sudden, when it's a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, the first thing they do is dismiss that, and they tell you, let us stick it in water, though. That's family. That's different. So don't allow anybody to abuse you. But when it comes to your family, it's okay because that's family. So so that's kind of hypocritical, isn't it? You're telling me that everybody else has no right to hurt me, and I should put up boundaries, and I should break up relationships because I should be treated a certain way. I should have a certain level of self-esteem and protect myself. But when it comes to my family, well, that's family. That's different. It's not different. That doesn't mean that you have to disrespect your family, but you also have to put up boundaries as to how far they can go with you. I give you a prime example. And some of my seasoned women on here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of times when you're dealing with the young people, you're in a marriage or in a relationship, and it could be a pretty good relationship, but you tend to talk too much about your relationship. You tell your mother and your father entirely too much about your relationship. You tell your sister or your sister friends, you tell them entirely too much about your relationship. And then you wonder why he or she them mess around with your he or she. You wonder why they don't had an affair, or you wonder why your mother all up in your business, your father all up in your business. Because by the time you and your boo thing has rectified things, and you guys have forgiven each other, guess who's still mad? Your family is still mad because you don't went and told entirely too much. You ain't going nowhere, so you don't told, and now you mad at them because they're still angry. Of course they're still angry. They're hurt because you were hurt, and so they can't let it go. So now they got an attitude with your boo thing, your husband or your wife. And the husband or wife may be the type of person, you're not gonna come in my house and disrespect me. And you're not gonna come. If you want to go visit your family, you go visit your family over here, but your family is no longer welcome over here because you talk too much. You didn't set up proper boundaries to protect and safeguard your relationship. Now, I'm not saying, now check this out. Now, narcissists will take that and run on with that. They'll take that and like, you shouldn't be telling your family all your business. But if they're hurting you, if they're gaslighting you, if they're mistreating your children, it might be good to talk to an elder. Maybe your parents might not be, but an elder, a seasoned woman, a seasoned, mature man, to ask questions that are unbiased. They don't know you guys like that. Well, I say they know you, but they don't know you, and you have come to know their character. Where you can have conversation, private conversation, where you know that that conversation is not going to go anywhere. They're not going to be all in your business, and they have built character and built rapport with you, where you can open up and talk. And some of these mature folks will tell you, baby, you being abused. Honey, if you don't watch it, this is what's going to happen. Sugar, I don't trust them around your kids. Like that, your child's got a shape now. Your daughter has got a shape. She shouldn't be walking around like this. You need to make sure because I don't trust him. Sometimes the intuition of the mature women, sometimes you need to listen to that. Some of you, well, I don't have no facts. You don't know what you're talking about. Some of these women been around for a long time. Some of these men been around for a long time. They've seen things that you haven't seen. They've been through things that you haven't been through. Some of them have been through the things that they're telling you about. Baby, you need to make sure your daughter got some clothes on while they're walking around the house. That's stepdaddy or that's daddy. Some people don't believe that their own biological father or their own biological mother can, what's a good word that we can use on social media, can violate them. And believe me, they can be violated by their own body. Now, that's the boundaries that you're setting up as a parent. You're setting up boundaries in the house, and you're teaching those young women in your house how to respect themselves and even respect themselves around their father. Some of you are like, but their father wouldn't do anything. It might be true. It might be right. You might be right. That father may not, or that mother may not do anything to those children. But you as a mother or a father should be correcting your daughters or your sons, because you don't want them to get out there and they teach that to their children. And then their children have no boundaries. When you around the father should have the highest respect in the home. if he's not an abusive person. If he's an abusive person, I'm not saying disrespect, because he can make it worse on those kids. She can make it worse on those kids. But you have to use wisdom, and that's what you got the mature women around for. That's what you got those seasoned women around for. Now, I got some people that are here that are older than I am. These are seasoned women. Now, it ain't like I'm a young buck either, and just like my mother, and we are some seasoned women as well. And we try to talk to the young girls, or sometimes these young girls know more than we do. And then when things happen and they come back and they say, you know what, you were right. I know, baby, because I've been through it. A lot of us have been through it. You see what I mean? I may look young in the face, y'all, but I got some scars. I got some scars. I got some time under my belt. I can tell you some stories. You see what I mean? But now, me as an elder to some of the younger people, I still need to go to my elders and have conversations with them as well. And a lot of us have to learn how to respect ourselves, males and female alike. And the reason why I say that is because one of the biggest things that we talk about in our ministry, as my mother speaks, she talks about it all the time. My big sister talks about it. Is that we have to have respect for ourselves. We have to learn how to value ourselves. And when you don't have value, that's one of the things I talked about. One of the videos, one of the things that my mother talked about. Hey, Kieran. But one of the things she says, if you don't value yourself, if you don't respect yourself, you don't value yourself, you have no value at all. No one's going to value you because you place value on yourself. I'm not saying you got to be better than everybody else. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you got to have enough value to know to have boundaries. It's not going to do is call me some of my things are like disconnecting. But some of the young girls think it's cute to call each other the B. First of all, I'm not a B. I'm not the B word. Some women think it's cute when a man calls you his B. That ain't cute. That's disrespectful. And when you don't set up boundaries, you're training him. You're training her how to treat you. Then later on, when you get older and you're more mature and you tired of that nonsense, and you tell him or you tell her, I'm tired of this. Stop doing it. They're looking at you. What's wrong with you? Why did you change? It was okay up until this point. What's changed? I never liked it. You never said anything. I remember talking to an older lady in the church, and I used to watch her and her husband. They were probably like in their 70s, but I used to watch him carry her purse. I used to watch him open the doors for her. I used to watch him get to the car, and he used to open up the door for her. And I was like, that is so sweet. That is so respectful. I love it. It's so sweet. She said, baby, I had to train him. And he would laugh. And he's like, yeah, I'm well trained. And I said, what do you mean by that? I think her name, what was her name? Miss Joe, I think it was, something like that. She says, honey, I had to train him. She said, it wasn't always like this. She said, when we were dating, she said, I had to teach him how to respect me. I had to teach. She said, there are many days we walked up to the door looking at each other, and he told me, come on. She said, I would stand right there and wait for him to open the door. She said, if I got you with me, she said, I ain't here to open up no doors for me. She's just standing there. She said, he'd be on the other side of the door looking at her, like, you coming? And she would just look at him. She said, oh, no. She said, I made him open my door. She said, many days that I used to walk in my car, and he get in the car looking at me until I get in. She said, oh, no. She said, I'm not getting out with you. She said, no. She said, I got a strong man with me. She said, you coming to open this door for me? She said, many days we be staring at each other. She said, I had to train him. She said, if I'm riding with my husband, she said, I'm not pumping no gas. She says, I'm going to let you pump the gas. I'm not going to get out and pump no gas. And have you seen how many women are riding with a man in the car? They get out to pump the gas. Now, I know that this is a new generation. But listen, I'm old school. If I'm with a big, strong, burly man, I'm not getting out the car to pump no gas. I's not. We talk about this, what we talk about, the soft girl era. And a lot of you are single parents. And so I've heard this podcast, and I love the men that came to defend the women. And I love it. And the thing is they were talking about the soft girl era, and one of the guys or somebody was saying that I don't like a masculine woman. I don't like a woman with all that masculine energy. Now, I'm not saying, now we do have the LGBTQ community. We do have those that are considered studs and things like that. I'm not well versed in the community, but we do understand that part. I'm talking about the soft girls. Like, I'm talking about us women that are girls. Now, I'm not saying you're not a girl, but I'm just saying that are heterosexual women that have children and become single parents, have yeah, standing looking at each other, but that are single parents, that are ladies, that are women, that are very feminine, uh, very feminine, but you do have this, they do have this, but they some of us, and I'm prior military. I'm trying to get into my soft girl era. I'm working on it. Some of you trying to get in that soft girl era. But what happens when you are a single parent and you're having to protect the children that are in your house? Now you sleeping with a gun in your house. You got a pistol over there in your drawer, or you already know if they cry out or if somebody come in the house. Besides 911, who in there got to defend them? We do. And we can't come down there being all soft and cute. Now, I mean, I'm soft and cute, but I can fight. You know what I mean? We're gonna fight. We're gonna pull some guns, knives, or something. And so it's almost like you have to have, when the man is not around, you kind of have to have a kind of masculine style. I'm not saying you over masculine, but there is this masculine energy that you have. Don't play with my kids, don't play with me, because I'm mama bear. So don't play with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. I have learned to change my tire in the military. I know how to change my tire. Because what if a man is not around? It's not saying that we don't want them around. Definitely want a man around to help us out. Let me be a light. Let me be a lady. You know what I mean? But if push comes to shove, and I have to wait by the side. I'm not going to wait by the side of the road to get me and my child out of danger. Let me change that tire and do what I got to do. Many days I've come from church, put a towel on the ground and covered my legs with another towel and went up there and had to change some things I had a sports car at the time, to change some things in my sports car. You know what I mean? But check this out. And the men were saying, well, what do you expect when the women are having to raise the children by themselves? What do you expect when you got boys in the house that are going to be 6-7 feet tall, and you might be a petite woman, and you already know he's sniffing himself, and you got to come and let him know, don't play with me. I'll take this wig off in the heartbeat. Don't play with me, son. Don't play with me. You know how the old for I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. But that your son gonna be a big man. You got to instill a little bit of fear in there. Don't play with me. And you a boy mom. Don't play with me. They tapping and playing and stuff. They getting a little rough. They going to be stronger than you. Don't play with mama like that. And me and you don't play with mama like that. Because I'll knock your little tail out. I don't care how big you get. I don't care if I got to get a bat. You know what I mean? But you got to do what you got to do. So that's where that masculine energy comes from. Now, I'm not talking about, like I said, we do have an LBGT community, and that's I'm not too well versed in it. So I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just talking about, heterosexual women, single women that are having to do it by themselves. A lot of times you don't have a man around to do it. But when a man does come around, ladies, sometimes we got to back up and let him be a man. Let him be that lion that he is. Some of y'all are all into your emotions. That's another thing that we talk about. Sometimes you're making decisions based off of emotion. Ooh, him so cute. Him fine. We can make some pretty babies. He got some pretty hair. Ooh, he got some pretty eyes. My baby gonna have some pretty hair and some pretty eyes. You better go buy you some Cambodian hair. You better get you some Brazilian deep wave or something like that, baby, and put on that child's head. Permit. Like I said. But some of us make this, and I'm saying some of us because I was in that category at one time. So I can speak from experience. A lot of times we make decisions based off of emotions. Some women are entirely too emotional, and some men are entirely too emotional. And you make decisions based off of their looks. You're making decisions off of their height, the type of hair that they got, the type of car that they're driving. They walking right, they look right, they smell good. What woman don't want a man to smell good, look good, walk right, dress right? Oh, he wearing these kind of shoes. He's wearing this type of car, but he a little monster, And a lot of us are making decisions based off of emotions. You ain't put no standards up there for yourself. You ain't got no boundaries up for yourself. Man tell you you look good. You already in your mind thinking of how many kids you're gonna have by this man. You already thinking about, moving in and having children and what kind of lifestyle we can live and what our kids gonna look. And all he said was, "Hey, how you doing?" That's all he said. He said, "Hey, how you doing?" He said, "You are very pretty. No disrespect. You're very pretty." Right? And some of us women run on in our minds. Do you know that some women are so emotionally jacked up? And listen, there is a disorder called borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder deals with a lot of emotions. It's that love, hate, I love you, I hate you, don't leave me, where are you going? I hate you, get away from me, I love you, come back here. Confusing. The moods go up and down, up and down, up and down. They have a serious problem with attachment issues. And so when they, if you pay them some attention, a lot of times they grab a hold of you and they jump into relationships really fast. And it goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Number one, ladies, a man just like you gonna come with that calling card. You gonna wear that good hair. You know that wig you wearing, you gonna wear that good hair. Now, what he need to do is see you in the gym with your afro puff. That's what he need to see. He need to see what you look like when you take your makeup off, what you look like without your makeup on. Do you really look the way that you look without makeup on? When you take all this off and the butt pads off, what do you really look like? What you look? Do you have hair? Are you? Ain't nothing wrong with a bald headed woman. There are a lot of women walking around here bald headed and they look fly with them big earrings and stuff. They look good. But let me take it off, let you see what I look like. Usually within a 12-month period of time, you get to know what that person is like. I don't know why I'm all on this topic right here, but you get to know what a person is like. You know what they like when you know what they are like when they get angry. What are they like? Do they even like their parents? Do they have respect for their sisters and their mother? How do they handle money? Do they have anything? Do they own anything? Some of you don't want a man that got a bunch of kids or kids at all because you want to start a family with that man. And some of us, have kids and grandkids. So it's totally different. Do you own anything? Because I own stuff. Do you have a business? Because I have a business. Do you have a job? Because I got a job. Can you read? Because I can read. Can you write? Because I can write. Can you cook? I would love to have a man that cooks because I like to cook. Or maybe you don't know how to cook and you want him to know how to cook so he can teach you how to cook. You know what I mean? So within a 12-month period of time, a lot of times people are jumping in. He got to see both of them. Yep, got to see both of them. But within a 12-month period of time, getting to know someone, you're building rapport. But remember, for a narcissist, everything is real, real, real quick. You know what I mean? Real, 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 real quick. Everything is quick. They talking about their future. Everything is real fast. And you're being boundaries. You're not going to call me this name. You're not going to do this right here. This is not how I operate. Let me explain something about boundaries. Boundaries are fences. And you put a fence around your house. The fence around your house is indicating to the people on the outside that this is being that's behind you. You should not be on this side of the fence unless I invite you on this side of the fence. If I've got a big old dog and you come on this side and this big old dog bites you, that's your fault, not mine. Your problem, not mine. I'm not liable for that. Get back on the other side. Or in some states that have, gun laws and whatever the laws are, you come on that side of the fence and you end up getting unalived or maimed, injured, is because you crossed over my boundaries. You crossed over my fence, and to defend myself, this is what I had to do because I am a legal gun holder. And this is what happened on this side of the fence because you crossed the fence. There ain't no conversation. There's no negotiation. Now, if my dog gets out on the other side of the fence, it is my responsibility. Now, that's my fault. I have to make sure that I am liable for making sure that you're taken care of because my dog should not have gotten on the other side of that fence. But that's what your life is. You're protecting the assets that's on the inside of the fence. When you set up fences or you set up boundaries, you're protecting your emotions, you're protecting your mind, you're protecting your children, you're protecting your body, because most of you guys have been in a narcissist relationship, and being in a narcissist relationship, a lot of you are still trying to recover from that narcissist relationship right now. Some of you are going through in your body. Some of you guys are going through in your body right now, and you have been away from that narcissist for years, and you're still going through. Stop trying to rush it back in. That's why I hate when women say, in order to get over one, just get into another one. That's the dumbest thing you can ever say, because you're carrying this bag over into a new relationship. Have you heard of, I talked about this, have you heard of the Johari window? The Johari's window is things that you know about yourself that other people know about you. Then there's one that things that you know about yourself that no one else knows about you. That's your facade. This is who you present yourself to be in front of people, and people don't know that's not really you. But this is what you present. That's your facade. That for the narcissist, that's their mask. They hide behind that mask. Then there is what other people know about you that you don't know about yourself. That's called your blind spot. And a lot of times when people tell you about your blind spot, a lot of times people can't handle it because they're triggered and it feels like you're being persecuted. It feels like you're being talked about and dogged out. It feels like, you're hating on me. I'm being triggered because I've always felt like you're insecure. So it always feels like you're doing something wrong. You can never do anything right. No, that's called a blind spot. And then when the person that's telling you, their character and not telling you to hurt you, sometimes people are going to hurt your feelings by how they say what they say. But a lot of times you have to listen to what they're saying. And yes, it's very painful to find out things about yourself that you don't realize about yourself. And then there's the window that's you don't know about yourself and no one else knows about yourself. And it talks about how a lot of times heroes are created from that place where you don't even know what you'll do in a situation like that. And you'll surprise your own self because you didn't know you had that in you. And a lot of you are going through the season of, I didn't know I had that in me. I didn't know I can make it without him or her. I didn't know that I was able to survive without him and her. I may have started all over again from ground zero, but at least I have a place to stay. I have a roof over my head, even if you're in a shelter, even if you have to move back in with your parents. But you don't even know. I didn't know that I was able to make it. I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I could start my own business. I didn't even know I had the skill set to get a job. I didn't know this was out. I didn't know I had this strength. That's some hidden strength. A lot of times in a bad situation is when a lot of your strength come out that you didn't know was there. So that's the other window, is what you don't know about yourself and nobody else knows until you're in a situation where that comes out and you shock your own self. But the most important thing is you got to have boundaries. You cannot operate out of emotions. You cannot choose mates and lifelong, well, you guys soulmates. You can't pick a mate based off of what they look like and how you feel. Your feelings are going to fail. Your feelings will fade. I felt like I was in love with him and it felt so good. And ask Bishop Linda. Bishop Linda married almost 40 years, almost 30 years or 40 years, 30 years or 40 years. I'm not sure. Please forgive me, Bishop Linda. But her and her husband been together for eons of time. And I'm quite sure that wasn't always butterflies in her belly. It wasn't always, oh, he's so fine and oh, he smells so good and floating on. No, they've had to go through some things where the love was tested. But one thing, love is not an emotion. Most people argue it is an emotion. It's a feeling. No, feelings fade. Emotions go away. Do you have a foundation? Or is it based off of emotions? If it's based off of emotions, the emotions are going to fade. And when those emotions fade, can you say that person is my best friend? Is that person? Because think about our kids for just a minute. Those of you that have children, you don't like your kids all the time. But one thing you can say is I love my children and I always want to see them do well. Even though sometimes I don't feel like talking to them, I don't even want to see you. Don't even call me. Don't talk to me. Don't come by my house. Don't say nothing to me. But you still love your child and you still want to make sure that the child is okay. If something happens to them, you make sure that you're there. Even if I'm not talking to you, I'm going to show up and make sure that you're okay. And that's when you have to put in place boundaries. Some of you guys have narcissistic children. Some of you have narcissistic parents. There's nothing wrong with putting up boundaries, because what if the pain comes from the parents? And every time you go over there, you keep getting wounded and wounded and wounded and wounded. And you know that you don't want to disrespect your parent. But the thing is that you can put up boundaries and you make a decision when I want to go over there, when I want to talk to you, if I want to talk to you, if I even want to show up to this dramatic family reunion that you burn down the yard every year. You cuss me out every time I get over there. Every time I get over there, you embarrass me in front of people. It's just a matter of time that you're going to stab me in the heart with your words. You're going to say things that's going to embarrass me. You get around people that I don't know and you start a smear campaign. But you keep putting yourself back in that situation. And what you say is, but that's my mother, but that's my father. They're older now. That's what people are telling you. Well, you just got to forgive them. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to go back and reestablish a relationship. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Danielle. But, that doesn't mean, forgiveness doesn't mean I have to come back and reestablish a relationship with you. Forgiveness means I'm going to take myself out of the cage I put myself in. Because unforgiveness, that means that you're drinking poison hoping that the other person is unalive. And that's not going to happen. When you forgive, it means that I'm going to let this go because you're probably ignorant. And it's not, and you probably even doing it on purpose. But you know what? What comes around goes around. I'm going to forgive you so I'll hold myself hostage. Because think about it. Those people that are walking around in unforgiveness, all that ever comes up in your mind, that keeps coming up in your mind, is the offense and what they did and how they did it. I can't believe they did it. And you meet those people that are so bitter, that's all they ever talk about. Like their whole conversation consumes them about how this person has done them. Or you have a relationship, or you're trying to start a relationship and they're telling you how bad it's going to be. And you can't trust any man. You can't trust any woman. And I wouldn't even get into a relationship because all men or all women are like this. Those are people that are bitter and they're still walking around bitter, holding themselves hostage when you can forgive and let it go. Some people say, I'll never forgive. No, what you want to make sure is you don't forget. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you forget, because if you forget, it's called amnesia. To forgive somebody is to let them go, but I don't have anything to do. I forgive you, but I don't have anything to do with you. You will never have that space in my life because I put up boundaries against you. You will never have that place in my life ever again. You will never have that type of friendship. You will never have that closeness with me because you have shown me who you are and I believe who you are. And you've done it too many times and you've hurt me. And so the first time is shame on me. I mean, shame on you. The second time is shame on me because I keep letting you back into my boundaries. Boundaries are non-negotiable. You don't negotiate your boundaries. This is how you set a boundary. I'll give you an example. And just for giggles, if we laugh, we laugh. We don't. But you could tell somebody, um, listen, I don't like when you call me that. Don't call me that again. Don't do that. You're so welcome. No, don't do that. Don't call me that again. The next time you do that, I'm gonna cut you off. No negotiate. I'm gonna cut you off because I shouldn't have to tell a grown woman or a grown man not to do that. That's very disrespectful. Maybe you didn't know I had these boundaries. Maybe you didn't know that that was wrong, and that I don't appreciate that. So I'm just letting you know, as a friend, I'm letting you know. I'm giving you an opportunity to change that. But don't you ever do that again. Don't ever do that to me again. That's a boundary that you do not cross. Now, once you've set that boundary, you've told them, if you do this again, this is going to happen. Now, a healthy boundary means that if they do it again, because you do have narcissists that hate boundaries. So what are they going to do? They're going to push the boundary. They're going to do it again. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to gaslight you. Oh, you're so sensitive. Why are you so sensitive? You know what? It's probably from your past. Remember, you said you have been hurt this way. Remember, you said that you've been through this right here. Remember, you're just sensitive. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just joking. It's just a joke. Oh my gosh, stop being so uptight. Stop being, I'm trying to help you. You said that you wanted help and learning how to do this. But you see how you're being gaslighted, and you see how the person is now negotiating your boundaries, and especially a narcissist who's going to fight those boundaries because they don't want you to tell them. You don't tell me what to do. And you're thinking to yourself, first of all, I'm going to tell you what to do concerning me. You don't tell me what to not tell you to do when it concerning me. That's just like going out to eat. Or let me finish this example. A boundary would be they do it again and then you cut them off. You know what? It was good while it lasted. You take love you, boo. And that's it. Or for some of you guys don't understand how boundaries work. So listen, I've told you 1,000 times. I've told you over and over again. I've given you your last chance. I've told you this. I told you. And so now a narcissist know that you're not serious because you're still talking about and you're still negotiating your boundaries. So they already know they still got to open the door. That's why we're certain narcissists. Now, keep in mind, we're not talking about some of you guys that have children. I'll get back to that. But with a narcissist, you just have to cut them off. Go no contact on all social media, telephone, everything. If you don't go 100% no contact, no talking to them, no looking at their social media, block them from everything. They're going to try. They may even show up at your house. What you don't do is go out there and say, I told you, why are you here? Why do you keep coming? You're still negotiating your boundaries. But what happens is they show up and you see them, you call 911. Come to my house if you want to. You don't even have to say anything. You show them come to your house and they ring your doorbell, you call 911. You don't go out there and when you go out there and argue, I told you, don't come to the door. Let me tell you, no, go away or I'm going to call the police. No, you've set your boundaries. Don't come over here. Don't say anything to me. They show up at the house. You call 911. It's not negotiable. We're not going to talk about this. You see what I'm saying? And you don't talk to them about this. You're not going to talk about this. Non the drama. Some of you want the feeling of, see, okay, it's back on. But you're playing a very dangerous game because the narcissist is going to push the limits. Narcissist is going to push, the thing about you, stick to your boundaries and hold your ground. No, you don't negotiate it. And no matter how heartbroken you are, and some of you guys are so heartbroken because you truly love this person and you're finding out that this person does not have the capacity to love you the way that you love them. have emotion. A narcissist does not have emotional empathy. Hold on just a minute. I just hate this light. It's super bright. There we go. But a narcissist does not have emotional empathy. A narcissist have cognitive empathy. Emotional empathy means that, say, for example, God forbid any of you guys losing a parent. If you have, my deepest condolences. And I don't mean to trigger you guys or make you feel bad about yourself or about the situation or trigger you about the situation, but some of you guys are hurt. The thing about it is, you know, your mother passes away, your father passes away. Emotional empathy means, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine what you feel like. My parents are still living. I can't imagine what it's like to lose my parents. And you start feeling that pain. Oh my God, I cannot imagine what you're going through. I am so sorry. Is there anything that I can do for you? I can only imagine. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Is there anything I could do? And sometimes it means just sitting with the person. Sometimes we talk too much. Sometimes it's just sitting with the person, let them cry. You see what I mean? That's emotional empathy. Narcissist doesn't have that. They don't feel that. A narcissist has cognitive empathy. Cognitive empathy meaning that I understand how emotions work. So I know if I push this button or I do this right here, it's like insert emotion here. Okay, I'm supposed to cry at the funeral. Okay, so I'm going to cry at the funeral, but you already know it's kind of awkward because they overdo it. And you're like, why are they crying so much at the funeral? Well, they lost a parent. That's not even their parent that they lost. They done threw themselves in the coffin, because they overdo everything for attention. But they watch people and they figure out what emotions goes here. So they got to compete with you in the emotions, or they know to push these buttons. I can get you to do this. And if I do this right here, I can get you to do this. But the biggest thing, like I said, once again, is to set up your boundaries. When you're setting up boundaries, no means no. Absolutely no does not require an explanation. No means no. And a lot of times when you set up boundaries, a narcissist feels like you are unaliving them. Why are you doing me this way? Why would you be so cruel? I can't believe that you are abusing me like this. You're gaslighting me. You're a narcissist. And it's all because you said no, or it's all because you've cut them off. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about those of you that have children, because of the fact that a lot of you that have children, you got to put the disclaimer in there. When you have children, you can't just jump up with your kids and leave. Some of you have to swallow your pride and you have to go seek help through a domestic violence advocate. And what they would do is they document, they put stuff on paper, they put you in a safe house. Even some of them will even move you and put you in a safe space so that they can't turn around and say that you kidnapped the children. Because a lot of narcissists will use that against you. If you don't use no, say, I can't depend on nobody, I'm not going to help. Okay, but you're setting yourself up where they go into court and they're going to make a big scene that you kidnapped. All of a sudden you look up, there's an Amber Alert because you done stole the kids. That's because you didn't reach out to get any help. And the people that you need help from are the people that can do paperwork and document so that you can get yourself out of there with your children. Swallow your pride and ask for help. Help is there. When you really want it, help is there. You just have to know how to go look for the help. You got to know how to look for the help. 988 is a crisis number. And even in that crisis number, you can ask them for help. You can ask them for help. 988 is the old 1-800-733 8922, something like that. I think that's the number. Miss Karen has that number. But that's the 988 number, the crisis number. And they can still connect you to the resources that you need in your state, in your area. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have children by a narcissist and you're trying to escape, don't get up and just leave with those kids, because they can put an Amber Alert out there. And the courtroom is their biggest playground, where they say that you done kidnapped the kids, and you're going to get those kids taken out of your hand and put into the hands of the narcissist. You done played into the narcissist's hand. Get you some help, get documentation, get paperwork so they can take you out of the situation. There's paperwork, and a lot of them will go to court with you to make sure that when you go to court, a lot of those judges are familiar with the advocates that come in there so they can help you so you don't get your kids taken from you. But once again, I say boundaries. Boundaries are not about emotions. We cannot live through our emotions when it comes to dealing with a narcissist. Some of you guys know that the last thing to go is hope. The last thing to go is hope. And a lot of times you're hoping for the best. You're hoping for the best. You keep giving them a chance. You keep giving them a chance. You keep giving them a chance. But they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. But you wonder why they're not changing. They're not changing because there's a permanent narcissistic personality disorder is a permanent personality disorder that gets worse with time. You got to put up healthy boundaries. You got to put up boundaries, and you cannot keep negotiating your boundaries. Boundaries are non-negotiable. No means no and does not require an explanation. When you have come from a family of toxic people and narcissist people, when you make a decision to disconnect, or you decide, I'm not coming over this Christmas, I'm not coming over for Thanksgiving, every year it's the same thing, or people are telling you you're wrong for that, those are your parents, they're getting older, one day you're not going to be around, you're going to regret it. That's called manipulation. That's called emotional manipulation. They don't even realize what they're doing because they don't understand. And they're like, but that's your parent. That's your parents. You have to forgive them. I can forgive and not be a part of the group. I can forgive because sometimes that's the source of your pain. And when you're dealing with narcissistic situationships, that's another thing you have to consider. You have to set up your boundaries. Contact. You block them from everything. There's no negotiation. When it comes to those of you that have children, you know that you're going to have to gray rock and go look up parallel parenting, because you're not going to co-parent with a narcissist. You're going to parallel parent, and you go look up parallel parenting. I did a YouTube video on that, and there's also other people. I think like Rebecca Zung. Um, uh, there's some other. I think it's Rebecca Zung or One Mom's Battle. Go look at that. But they talk about parallel parenting, because a narcissist is a narcissist is a narcissist, y'all. I want you to remember that. I want you to remember. Uh, I wish I could consult a DV easier with their knowledge and perspective. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is that Mr. Chris? Absolutely, Mr. Chris. And don't think just because of the fact that you're a male that you can't reach out to a domestic violence advocate. Now, for some, a lot of times men don't reach out for help. And so sometimes they're kind of shocked that they're helping a man. But there is help out there for men as well. And if a woman can use an advocate, you can use an advocate. Now, there may not be any shelters out there for you that I'm aware of, but you never know that there are some resources that are hidden and people don't know anything about. But you won't know anything about it unless you reach out to an advocate. You see what I'm saying? So listen. Woo-wee, it's getting late. I'm sorry. Excuse me. You guys know I have a conference coming up on July 27th, 100% on Zoom. And it's going to be on July 27th from 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 Central Time, 11 Eastern Time to 5, which is 5 Pacific Standard Time, and it is 7 Central Standard Time and 8 Eastern Standard Time. I have some dynamic speakers on the forum. I'm one of the speakers. I'm going to be talking about is breaking generational cycles, breaking generational trauma. And the thing about it is, you are so welcome. And the thing about it is that in order to break generational cycles, you got to pick up on the patterns in your life. What are some of the patterns in your life? What kind of patterns? What has been passed on in families? What are some of the patterns? And so I'm going to be talking about a little, what is generational cycles? What is generational trauma? What is epigenetics? What are patterns? What patterns are you looking for to stop them? We can create a legacy of wealth. You have the Rockefellers, and you have these wealthy people that have moved wealth forward in their families. I was watching a documentary about the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers, and how the Vanderbilts lost a lot of their wealth because they were very, very wealthy people. But what happened was they kept moving the wealth over to the next heir, and some of them didn't work. And some of them were just enjoying the wealth, and they're just splurging and spending all this money and purchasing this and the Waldorf, remember the Waldorf, and this and so they're just running through all this wealth that someone worked so hard to attain for the family. The Rockefellers, on the other hand, they put it into a lot of trusts. They have an annual meeting every year on one of their oldest properties that they own. And what they do is they introduce new members of the family, like if you've married in, if you've had children, and every year they meet together. They come together like a business, introducing each other, teaching each other about wealth, teaching each other about money, teaching each other about investments, and they have trustees. They run their family as a business to keep that wealth in the family. So check this out. If they work hard to their family, look what all they're doing to maintain that wealth. Patterns and trauma that is in your family that's being passed on to generation. In order to break a cycle, you have to do something that has never been done before. That's how they kept wealth in their family. They did something that's never been done before. We can learn from the Rockefellers. And just like in this conference, we're going to do something that we have never done before. And I'm going to be talking about that. And then I have my sister, Demetria Fields, a millennial. She's going to be talking about the different generations, the baby boomers, the Gen X's, the Gen Z's, the Gen X's, the millennials, the Gen Z's, how each one thinks when it comes to relationships and rearing children, what they're doing. Even the trauma of a golden child. She's going to be talking about that. But we're going to be talking about these different generations. I got my big sister, Bishop Kathy Gibson. She's going to be there. And she's going to be talking about, we talk about building our own self-esteem, building ourselves up. When you strip yourself of all your titles, mother, sister, grandmother, wife, CEO, president, when you strip yourself from all those titles, husband, provider, all that, who are you really? And a lot of people ask, well, how do I determine who I am? How do I find out who I am, who I really am? Because in order to make it in nowadays, and you got to know who you are. You got to have confidence about that. And then a lot of you have been asking me questions about narcissists in the church, narcissists on the pulpit, narcissists in the ministries, narcissists in the church. A lot of you come from churches that have taught you, once you get married, you stay married. And one of the stories that my mother teaches us, because she's been in ministry for a long, long, long time. And she was talking about this young lady that was being abused. She was a minister and she was being abused by her husband. And the elders were telling her, well, baby, you just need to pray. Baby, you need to stay there. God don't like divorce. You got to stay there. She said that she ministered, she preached at the church and went home, and her husband unalived her in front of her, I think, 3 young children. This is kind of graphic, but took her body apart and threw it over the balcony in front of her children. But she listened to the elders of the church. She prayed and stayed in the relationship. And this is some of the questions that people are having. And she is the expert in this area because she has been building churches, raising up leadership, training pastors, training bishops, building churches. And this is the person that you want to hear talk about this. Narcissists in the church, narcissists in the pulpit. What does it really mean when you're talking about God hates divorces? Should I divorce? Should I stay? And this man or woman is abusing me. This man or woman is a narcissist, and this is the person that you want to hear talk about this kind of stuff. And then afterward, those of you, the dynamic women, and those of you that, and for those of you that have been on Apostle Helen Sadler does Clubhouse on Tuesday mornings at 7:45 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. And on there, it's some dynamic people on there. You guys know Telsha with the T on NPD, Tasha Leland, Karen, Cluster B Free Karen, you guys have heard from Shirley Stadler, who is also a mentee of Cluster B Free. Well, we're going to have a table talk in the evening, and that forum, Effective Communication, is going to be on the conference forum. And you guys that tune in on Clubhouse and you listen to these women talk, you hear us talking, but you never see our faces. This time is going to be on Zoom, and now you get to see who it is that's talking and the questions that are asked. But you don't want to miss this. It's breaking generational cycles, breaking generational trauma. And those of you that join me on my private page, which is the women, what did I say it was? So it's a women's group only. And the women's group The women's group. Hold on just a minute. The So the women's group is Women Recovering from Narcissist Abuse and Volatile Relationship. This is my private Facebook group. You guys come and join me on this private Facebook group. Those of you that join me on this private Facebook group, there's a message on there about the conference, and you guys inbox me. And remember, next week, those of you that would like to be on Zoom, because I'm still going to do it live, but I'm going to do it live. For those of you that have questions, join on Zoom. I'm going to take 10 people on Zoom. You guys can ask questions, and we're going to broadcast live, just like we're doing now, but everybody gets to see your beautiful faces. If for safety reasons you don't want to show your face, please don't come, because we're going to have the camera on. If you don't turn the camera on, I'm going to take you back off of Zoom, because I'm going to do it camera on. So if the questions that you're asking, you don't want to ask in public, don't come on the Zoom. If you don't want to show your face for safety reasons, don't come on Zoom. But email me at drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. I'm going to put your name on the list. And whoever puts their name on the list, we're going to go ahead and go live with those people. If it's only 5 people or 3 people, those are the people that are going to get my attention and my time. And you guys get to see the conversations. And they may ask questions that you want to ask that you have not asked. We're going to have a conversation, but you get to have a one-on-one with me. So out of all the 10 people, you get to actually have conversations and ask questions. And we're going to let you ask those questions, and we're going to broadcast live. Okay? So make sure you join that private group. And that private group is an all females group, an all women's group. And we're going to have conversations on that private group about some things that you guys need to know as women, and conversations that we need to have as women. So you guys make sure you go and join me. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Thank you, Danielle, for helping me this evening in the absence of Just Be Real. Just Be Real had some other things that she had to do, and she has an early morning. And so I do not want to disrupt her time, because I'm honored that she's always there to help me, and she's very faithful. And thank you so much, Danielle. You guys get to meet Danielle on Zoom too. So if you get on Zoom, Miss Dolly, Mama Dolly, make sure you the Zoom link, because I want you to make sure that you're there too for the Zoom. Appreciate your time. I appreciate you, and thank you guys so much for being here. I'm always honored. I'll be back more often. It's just from February up until this point, my schedule has been full. I have been on the go, 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 and my body was exhausted. I was exhausted, but we have been on the go, on the go, on the go. So I wasn't able to come on live like I want to. But thank you guys so much for supporting me, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much. She is the best. I love me some Just Be Real. That's my girl. And Danielle too, that's my girl. She gonna come through for me. But and especially for my conferences, my girl always come through. And I appreciate you so much. And thank you so much, everybody. You guys have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you later on this week. Make sure you check out my TikTok, my Facebook, my YouTube. And I usually post videos in there. And make sure you guys join my private group, ladies. Make sure you come to my private group. You guys have a wonderful evening. And you guys be blessed and go be great. Good night, everybody.